Today, I'm going to look at the best prospect from every Major League Baseball team for 2021. This season has been a great season for the minor leagues, and the minor leagues is almost over this year. So, like I said, I'm going to look at the best prospect from each Major League Baseball team, and that's what I'm going to do in today's video. But before I get into this video, a lot of you that watch these videos are actually not subscribed. So go ahead and get your life together and hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like on this video. Leaving a like on this video helps a lot to the YouTube algorithm. They like that like button a lot. So let's go ahead and get into this video. We're going to start off in the National League West. I feel like I'm always repetitive, kind of start off in the American League East. But let's start off in the National League West, and we're going to start off with the Colorado Rockies and Zach Veen. Zach Veen was drafted 9th overall by the Rockies back in the 2020 Major League Baseball draft and has lived up to expectations and more this year with their low-A affiliate, the Fresno Grizzlies, with a .300 batting average, 15 home runs, and 75 runs batted in. He has had a great season this year and has led the Fresno Grizzlies to what could be a playoff spot with this team. His ETA right now is 2024, but I think he could be up even quicker. Next, let's head on to Arizona for the Diamondbacks and Jordan Lawlar. Jordan Lawlar was just recently drafted in the draft by the Arizona Diamondbacks and has not played much so far, but still, he is the best prospect in this organization. And the reason why he hasn't played very much is because he's out with a season-ending shoulder injury that is going to end the rest of his season that was announced a couple weeks ago. So we don't really know what to think with Jordan Lawlar. Jordan Lawlar is a great prospect who was drafted 6th overall by Arizona in 2021. We'll have to see how he does in 2022. His ETA right now is 2024. Seems about right to me. Let's head on next to the San Francisco Giants. They have a pretty obvious top prospect, and that is Marcelo Luciano. He is a shortstop. Luciano has spent all of his season in high A ball with their high affiliate, the Iguan Emeralds, and has showed out in that amount of time. A .258 batting average this year with 19 home runs and 70 runs batted in, 48 walks, and has struck out quite a bit. But still, Marcelo Luciano has had a great year. He was signed on July 2nd of 2018 by the Giants out of the Dominican Republic, and he has been very good since coming into this Giants farm system, and he's definitely, I think, the number one prospect for the San Francisco Giants. Next up, the Padres. I think this is a pretty obvious one as well, and it's going to be left-handed pitcher Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore has been the top prospect for a little bit since Fernando Tatis Jr., and he really graduated from that. That is when he has really taken it over. Mackenzie Gore has. C.J. Abrams is another guy that could be mentioned here, or Robert Hassel, but Mackenzie Gore is who I'm going to go with here. He's currently with the AA affiliate, the San Antonio Missions. He's missed a lot of time this year with an injury. He's 1-3 this year with a 3.93 ERA and 12 starts. C.J. Abrams is out for the year. He arguably could be the best prospect, but I just don't really see him being as good as he can be just because of all the second basemen and shortstops galore they have there in San Diego. And for the Dodgers, I think that they have a pretty obvious one too, and I'm going to go with right-handed pitcher Bobby Miller, who they drafted last year in 2020, and we know how good the Dodgers are with developing young pitching, and the Dodgers do a great job of it. Miller has earned a promotion to AA ball this year, and he has got a little roughed up in his 2 starts in AA, but he was great in high A ball with a 2-2 record with a 1.91 ERA in 14 games, 11 started. Bobby Miller is a really good pitcher who they drafted 29th overall back in 2020. Let's head now to the NL Central. Let's start with the Chicago Cubs and Brennan Davis. Brennan Davis has had a very good year. He has got a promotion to AAA in the meantime for Brennan Davis, and he is a really good player. He's kind of a gem, 2018 second-round pick by the Cubs, and he has been really good, especially this year. Between 3 teams, 18 home runs, 46 RBIs, and a .267 batting average. He has had a really good year and is currently a AAA. I think you could see him on the Major League roster as early as next season. Next up, let's head to Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh has a lot of good prospects. But I'm going to go with recently drafted Henry Davis as their best prospect right now. Henry Davis is in high A ball on the injured list right now, and he really dominated in the time that he did get to play before hitting the injured list. 308 batting average, 3 home runs, and 7 RBIs in that amount of time. And Henry Davis is a guy who I see as a really good player for them in the future. And Henry Davis is going to be very, very good. Next up, let's head to Cincinnati for Hunter Green. Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo are pretty close as far as prospects. Hunter Green, though, is who I'm going to go with here, but it's very, very close. He has had a great year, 10-8 with a 3.30 ERA between AA and AAA ball this year. And he's got a little roughed up in AAA ball, but did he dominate AA or what? 5-0 with a 1.98 ERA. He was the second overall pick back in 2017 by Cincinnati. This guy has an amazing fastball throwing over 100 miles per hour. Hunter Green is somebody who's going to lead their rotation in the future. Next up, let's head to St. Louis for the Cardinals and Nolan Gorman. The Cardinals farm system, a lot of players in their farm system have had a rather disappointing year, to say the least. Nolan Gorman, though, has still stayed decently consistent. Jordan Walker has had a big year for them, but I don't think he's the number one prospect just yet. For Nolan Gorman this year, who is their 2018 first-round pick, by the way, he's nominated this year. 288 batting average with 24 home runs and 72 RBIs this year. He has had a really good year. He can play second or third base. Second base is really clutch because, if he was at third base, he probably wouldn't be playing a lot over Nolan Arenado. Only on Nolan Arenado's off days. Next up, we head to Milwaukee for Garrett Mitchell. Garrett Mitchell is another guy who has had a very solid year this year, and I think is the pretty much consensus number one Brewers prospect, and I don't really think it's particularly close. Mitchell is currently in AA ball after dominating high A ball, which is where he started the year, and he has struggled a little bit in AA ball with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and a 186 batting average in AA. But 5 home runs, 20 RBIs, and a 359 batting average in high A ball. And now let's head to the National League East. And the National League East, let's start off with the Washington Nationals, and I'm going to go with Keibert Ruiz. Which you shouldn't consider Josiah Gray a prospect anymore. The Keibert Ruiz is by far their best prospect. Cade Cavalli has been great this year too. He's currently with a major league team. He's not going to be considered a prospect for much longer, but Keibert Ruiz is a great player, and Keibert Ruiz is going to have plenty of time to develop wherever he needs to. He's got put in a very good situation by being traded to the Washington Nationals. That's a great destination for a player like him that was not going to get any really shine with the Dodgers. Next up, for the Marlins, I'm going to go with Max Meyer. He was their 2020 draft pick, 3rd overall. People thought that they were a little crazy selecting him, but Max Meyer has had one heck of a year here. And the fact that MLB Pipeline has him ranked number 3 in their farm system is just disrespectful. He's 6-3 this year with a 2.41 ERA in 20 starts in 101 innings in AA ball with Pensacola. He spent all year there. And like I said, he was their 2020 first-round pick, 3rd overall. And Max Meyer has been phenomenal this year. He's their best prospect in their organization. Next up for the Mets, pretty clear here. It's going to be Francisco Alvarez, catcher. Francisco Alvarez has spent all year in high A, and he's done very well in high A for a team that's not been very good. 272 batting average, 23 home runs, and 69 RBIs. He's definitely the future catcher. I see him coming up probably 2023-ish. This is a guy who was signed on July 2nd of 2018 out of Venezuela by the Mets, and he has been a very good pickup. I think by far their best prospect. Next up for the Atlanta Braves, this might be a bit of a controversial one that I'm not going to go with Christian Pache or Drew Waters. They both had down seasons. Pache's never really shown much of anything that really has just been off the charts. I'm going to go with Shea Langoliers, catcher, who's currently in AA ball. He was the 2019 Braves first-round pick, 9th overall. And he has had a great year at backstop for Double A Mississippi. 258 batting average, 22 home runs, and 52 RBIs. He has had a great year. Michael Harris is also in conversation for possibly the number one prospect, along with Pache and Waters. But I am going to go with Shea Langoliers. He has had a great year, and he could be that future's Braves catcher after Travis d'Arnaud is gone. And for the Phillies, I'm going to go with Andrew Painter. Andrew Painter was recently just drafted in 2021. And Painter so far he's currently in rookie ball. He's not going to be up for a while, but Painter is a guy who has a great fastball, and he was the 13th overall pick for them, like I was saying. And he has big stuff, and in 6 innings so far and 4 starts in rookie ball, he's yet to give up a run. Andrew Painter is a guy that is really good. Hans Krause is also in there as possibly their best prospect, and you could even argue for Bryson Stoddard McAmel. Next up, let's head to the American League West, and we're going to start off in Los Angeles with the Angels and Sam Bachman. Sam Bachman was another guy who was recently just drafted in 2021, drafted 9th overall by the Angels, and I thought that this was a great pick. Reed Detmers is not really a prospect anymore, if we're being honest. He probably would be the number one guy, but I don't really consider him as a prospect anymore. Sam Bachman is in Double-A ball right now, and they say 2024, but I think he's going to be up even quicker. He didn't totally dominate high A ball with an 0-2 record with a 3.77 ERA, but I mean, he's got a great fastball. He can throw it 100. He's got a good slider and is working on that changeup right now. Sam Bachman is a guy who's going to be up quick, and you could even see him as early as next year or the next, in my opinion. He's going to be up very quick. Let's head to Houston, one of the worst farm systems of baseball. But their top prospect, in my opinion, is Corey Lee. Why Forrest Whitley is their top prospect anymore, I don't know. Corey Lee is in Double-A ball right now. He was a 2019 compensation pick for the Astros, and that's been a hit so far. 11 home runs this year, 40 RBIs, and a 284 batting average. He's not had a great year, but for a poor Astros farm system, this is who their best prospect is. Next up for Texas, Jack Leiter. Leiter was recently just drafted 2nd overall back in the 2021 MLB draft. And you could argue Cole Winn or Josh Young, and you probably have a good argument there. But Jack Leiter has been really good. Now, he has not played just yet in a professional game for the Rangers, and he probably won't this year. But for Jack Leiter, I mean, I think that this is a guy who's going to start in either high A or Double-A ball. He's going to start up there, and he's going to be quick. I mean, this is a guy who's probably on the timeline of some of these guys like Josh Young, Cole Winn, and Justin Foscue. And, I mean, he just got drafted. It may take him a little longer to develop than maybe I envision, but he is a really good pitcher with a great fastball. He's got the curveball too, which is just nasty. And yeah, he was the 2nd overall pick. They expect him to be the future leader of that rotation. Next up for the Mariners, Julio Rodriguez. Rodriguez is one of the best prospects in baseball, top 3 in baseball. If you don't think he's top 3 in baseball, you're just, I mean, you're just not looking at it right or whatever. But Julio Rodriguez has had a great year this year between high A and Double-A ball. And Julio Rodriguez this year, so far, 13 home runs, 46 RBIs, and a 343 batting average. He has had a great year, Julio Rodriguez has. And, I mean, he's their future center fielder. And he was signed on July 2nd, 2017 internationally. And, yeah, he has been great this year. One game, I think he had 5 hits in a doubleheader game, which is absolutely crazy. And now the final team of the American League West, pretty obvious one here for the Athletics. We've got Tyler Soderstrom. Tyler Soderstrom is a great prospect and has had a great year. He's had a great year this year in low A ball. That's where he spent his whole year, and he was the 2020 26th overall pick for them. A lot of people were criticizing this pick, but he's lived up to the hype. 306 batting average, 12 home runs, and 49 RBIs. The Athletics always seem to make very smart moves, and this is another looking to be smart move so far for the Oakland Athletics. Let's head now to the American League Central, and we're going to start off in Cleveland with Nolan Jones. Nolan Jones has been their top prospect for what feels like quite a while now. For Nolan Jones this year, he's had a bit of a down season in AAA ball. He's been on the verge of being there a couple times in the major leagues, but they've got Jose Ramirez. They need to just let him play the outfield with a guy that's such a good hitter like him. You got to find a way to get him in the lineup. 238 batting average this year with 13 home runs and 48 RBIs this year. Cleveland has a lot of other pretty good prospects as well. Tyler Freeman and George Valeria and Daniel Espino, Gabriel Reyes, and more. Next up for Kansas City, another one of the best prospects in baseball, Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. has had a phenomenal season. One of the best seasons in minor league baseball, if not the best. Bobby Witt has had a great, great year this year. Between AA and AAA, 32 home runs, 92 RBIs, and a 291 batting average. That is a year. He has been raking at the plate all year and deserves that call up to the major leagues. I put it in my 10 September call-ups video that he needs to be called up. Next up for Detroit, Spencer Torkelson. This is pretty obvious. He has had another phenomenal year. He just got drafted last year, and he's already in AAA ball, almost to the majors, which is crazy. For Spencer Torkelson this year, between three teams, high A, AA, and AAA, 266 batting average with 26 home runs and 81 RBIs. Torkelson could play first or third base. He was the 2020 first overall pick, pretty consistently as well. And, yeah, this is a guy that is very, very good. Next up, for the White Sox, we have Yoelqui Cespedes. This is a guy who was signed internationally just last year. Has already made it to AA ball. Now, MLB Pipeline has Colson Montgomery ranked as the number one prospect, but I have Yoelqui Cespedes. He dominated high A ball in a very short amount of time. This year, in not much of a season, a 287 batting average with 8 home runs and 27 RBIs. He has had a very, very solid year in the amount of time that he has played this year. And the final team in the American League Central, we have the Minnesota Twins, and I'm going to go with newly traded for Austin Martin. They traded for him in the trade that got Jose Barrios to Toronto, and he's had a little bit of a disappointing season. We expected, or at least I did, just a little more from Austin Martin, honestly. But Austin Martin's the number one prospect, I think. 265 batting average, 5 home runs, 35 RBIs, and he's been very patient at the plate as well with almost 60 walks. Austin Martin, though, I think is definitely the best prospect. Jordan Velasquez gives him a good run. Same thing with Simeon Woods Richardson. And now let's go to the American League East, the final division that we have in today's video. Let's start off with the New York Yankees, and this is a pretty obvious one with how he has been just so good this year. And that is Anthony Volpe, who's currently spent the whole year in high A ball. And wow, has he been good in high A ball this year. He has had a great dominant season for the Hudson Valley Renegades. 27 home runs, 86 RBIs, and 295 batting average. That's part of the reason why they're one of the better teams in their league. And, yeah, he was the 2019 first-round pick by the New York Yankees. And Jason Dominguez isn't their number one prospect. It's Anthony Volpe. Next up for the Blue Jays, Orlavius Martinez. This is a guy who has had another phenomenal year for this Blue Jays farm system. And they just seem to have a lot of shortstops in this farm system for some reason. And Orlavius Martinez has been great this year in high A ball right now. That's where he's at. And he was signed on July 4th, 2018 out of the Dominican Republic. And this year he has had 28 home runs, 87 RBIs, and a 261 batting average. For the minor leagues, that is a phenomenal season, and that's definitely true for Orlavius Martinez. Next up, for the Baltimore Orioles, I think we can say that this is the best prospect in baseball, Adley Rutschman. Adley Rutschman, I mean, he gets a good run for his money with Grayson Rodriguez. They both are great prospects, and Rutschman is the best prospect in baseball. Rutschman has had a great year this year. 21 home runs, 69 RBIs, and a 286 batting average. He was the first overall pick back in 2019 for the Baltimore Orioles, and I mean, you don't usually see a draft where it's just consensus he's number one. And it didn't matter in that draft whether it was the Cardinals, who already had Yadier Molina, or already have Yadier Molina. It didn't matter. Adley Rutschman was being took with that number one overall pick, and that was a pretty consensus first overall pick. And next up, our second to last team. Let's head to Tampa Bay, who has the best farm system in baseball, in my opinion. And let's go to their hard-throwing right-hander, who's currently in AAA. We thought he might get his major league debut, but no, he was actually scratched because of a back spasms problem. But he's had a phenomenal year, 5-4 with a 2.06 ERA this year. He has had a phenomenal year for this team's organization between AA and AAA. This guy deserves to be called up. He's one of the guys that I think deserves to be called up more than anybody probably in the minors right now. Baz is the 2017 first-round pick by the Pirates. He got traded in the Chris Archer trade, which just makes it even worse for Pirates fans. I'm really sorry, Pirates fans, that you have to – every prospect video I make, I feel like you have to put up with me saying Shane Baz, so sorry. But he's got a great fastball, slider, and changeup, and good control for those pitches as well. Yeah. Let's go ahead and head to our final team of the video. We've got the Boston Red Sox and Marcelo Mayer. Marcelo Mayer is a guy that we kind of didn't expect him to fall to number 4. He was arguably the best prospect in the 2021 Major League Baseball draft, and I say he is. But Marcelo Mayer was drafted 4th overall, fell to the Red Sox at number 4. And he's done very well in rookie ball so far. 3 home runs, 17 RBIs, and a 275 batting average. He's had a pretty good eye at the plate with 15 walks. And he's a great hitter. He gets comparisons to players like Corey Seager. He gets players to those. And he is one of the next superstars in Major League Baseball. They have a very crowded infield, but with a guy like Marcelo Mayer, you can find a spot to play a guy with the talent of him. He's going to be a great player in the future, whether he's at second base, shortstop, third base, who knows. But yeah, Marcelo Mayer is the best prospect in the organization of the Boston Red Sox. And that is going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications. Because like I said, a lot of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So go ahead, get your life together, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.